So the actions in the Realism mod. There are 14 things you can do, and they are quite simple, or actually most of them you remember by looking at this props and stuff. Let's start with the movement thing. Of course, when you activate the system, it costs activation token, but when you move it, it only costs 1 influence. So with that you can move stuff there, and you can build in a space dock, which is quite cheap, but it's yeah. So 1 influence for moving that. You have a nice chick there, chick. 1 influence. You can also, if you of course have the system, you can build a bunker or a PDS or a battle station or a space dock, and they all of them cost 1 each, and of course they cost resources as well. This costs 3 and this costs 4. So those are also 1 influence actions. Then there are the card thingies. Yeah. Oh, and besides this, when you build units outside of moving stuff there, so you can, if I would have a better planet, it would be nice, of course. So if you, because there's a galactic civilization, you really build much units, so you can activate any system without the space dock. So if you you can activate that and build a unit costing 2 in that one, but that also costs 1 influence. Also, you can build mercenaries on any planet you control, and the mercenary unit, the building of the mercenary unit also costs 1 influence, but it is not related to the you can hire mercenaries here, even though you cannot build stuff there yourself because there are mercenaries around, but they cost 3 times as much, and they come from outside of your own box, if there are less than 8 players, of course, in the game. Okay, that was the system thing is. Plots are easy. If you feel you have bad plots, you can pay 2 influence and take 2 plots and return the extras that you have. The same with the laws. You pay 3 influence, take 3 plots, 3 laws, enact the one that you like, plump on the table, and return the rest to the law pile. The action cards are the same. With 2 influences, you can take 2 action cards. With the directives is the same thing. After the Senate has opened, you can, because some races are important to see what directives come. So if you spend 2 influence, you can look at 2 of these and place them on the top or on the bottom as you wish. Then we come to the trading stuff. Let's start the easiest one first. When you form a permanent trade agreement with other players, you of course do that by marking it on that one like this. But it costs you 2 influence, and it costs 2 influence. It costs you 2 influence and the receiver 1 influence, because it's in line with that. People have to do thinking jobs. The next one is there's on action cards. There's an action fray tag action. So that if it has an action tag on it, then it means it costs 1 influence, because you have to think about what you're going to do. But many of the action cards are reactive, that they just happen when something happens, and that those do not cost influence. The last thing is the 4 last things. Taking costs the normal amount. So if you want to take a normal or any other than a yellow tech, then you pay 4 influence and 4 resources. 4 and 4, 4 and 4, and you get 1 tech. But if you want to take a yellow one, you pay 6 influences, because 6 influences because those do not require more. They don't have any experimental parts in them, so they don't need the resources for testing of the stuff. They just need the intellectual capacity. So you can, with 6 influences, you can take a yellow one. And then we have the trading thing. When you trade with other races, you pay one influence per stuff that you give them. So if you give 3 alliance cards to them, you pay 3 influences, but they pay 3 influences as well because they receive. So from giving and receiving alliance cards or technologies, you pay 1 influence, because it requires intellectual capacity to give away your technology, though it of course goes to the free tech card. But anyway, so all trade alliances and all alliances and anything. But of course, these are the promissory notes are not, if they get an action card or something, a law or something that says that you have to give a promissory note, then it doesn't cost anything. But when you do it yourself with another player, then you have to pay for giving and receiving. Those were the ones. Then there are the political ones. The first political one was, of course, the taking of directives things. The other one is the convening of the Senate. The convening of the Senate costs one influence per half race. So if you have an 8-player game, you pay 4 influences. With less, you have to pay less, because you have to think about. But that's easy. But the other one is that you can diplomatize the phrase from the base game. So that means that it basically means that you declare a location for the Senate meeting. So if you have declared the Senate meeting, then you can declare that I hold the Senate meeting in this place, and then everyone else has to put their marker on that place, so that and you of course, so that they cannot activate that system the next round, because they have their diplomatic persons there, so they cannot start invading it. So that's the defensive aspect that you can do. Usually that the least used action in the game, but the Xaha use it quite often. And of course it's really big for defensive purposes. That were the ones, all of them 14, I think. You can probably need to watch this again a few times.